Hi, Wendy.
Hi, Sonia.
How are you doing?
I'm fabulous.
How's Toronto today?
Sunny,
Sunny.
sunny.
Wonderful.
Brighter days, hopefully, for all of us.
Yes. And I love your glasses. They are
Oh,
beautiful.
thank you.
Yes, matches
Forgive
with
my baby blues.
the Wow, we have a lot of people. Oops, sorry.
Hi, Sonia.
I can hear myself. Okay. So we have already a lot of people joining us, and we will be starting our session soon. Oh, you brought your cup of coffee for the happy hour, huh?
I have my coffee. I have my water. I'm double fisting it.
It's evening, so I would want something else for the happy hour.
Well, I guess for you in India, you could have something else. Here
Yes.
it's 10 o'clock in the morning. So I did a Zoom meeting not that long ago, and somebody thought I had vodka in my coffee. I can assure you there is no vodka in my coffee.
Okay, I'll take your word for it. Great, great. We are having a lot of people joining. Hi, Shilpa, welcome. And we have Shilpa, we have Anita joining us today. Hi, Anita. Everyone is saying hello to you. Hi, Nilima. Hi, Nadi. Hi, Bindu. Hi, Varsha. Varsha is here. She's saying, so good to see you.
Good to see you. Well, I can see the chat thing too. I don't know if they have access to the chat, but if they want to type in chat, then I can see.
No. So if you can just open up maybe your phone on the side and you want to open Facebook on it so you can see the live stream. So you can't access chat, but then you can have your phone next to you and you can see all the comments right there.
See, every day I learn something new. Is it? Let's see. So cool.
You got it, right?
I got it.
Now you can see like live everyone coming in. So
Fabulous.
next to you and you can see right there. Okay, now you can also put your phone on mute because the voice will keep playing just like my phone.
How do I mute that?
You can just reduce the volume, so that should be fine.
Oh.
That was me. Okay, or you can just put your phone on mute, maybe. That would be, because if you'll get some notification also, at least they will not, otherwise it will create an echo at your end.
Yeah. Do you get an echo now?
No, I'm good.
Okay, I think we're good.
All right. Hi, Shreja. Hello. Hi, Padmaja. Hi, Kunal. A lot of people. Hi, Ruhi. So a lot of people are joining in. We have a lot of people already, so we will begin. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So welcome everyone to the Knowledge Happy Hour, another session of this fabulous initiative that we have taken. You all know that we meet every day at 7:30 p.m. Indian Standard Time, and we talk about a new topic. We bring in a new speaker for you. So today's speaker is Wendy Buchanan. Welcome, Wendy.
Welcome. Good to see everybody here. Thanks for having me.
The feeling is similar. And just a little introduction about Wendy. A few of you have already met her in previous sessions, but all our other Facebook friends who are coming and joining us today. Wendy is recognized as the eyewear image expert, and she's a licensed optician. She's an image consultant as well as an educator. It was in 1997 that when Wendy combined her passion for people and her love of the image world with her experienced optical training to launch a fun, personalized, one-of-a-kind eyewear styling service in Toronto, Canada. And you can see her right now with her specs. Wendy has been honored as the trailblazing entrepreneur for women in Canadian optical, and she's the founder and creative force behind Perception Eyewear, a mobile eyewear boutique. And we'll talk about a lot about the mobile eyewear boutique today. Wendy has total 20 years of hands-on experience styling men and women, and her unique approach of matching eyewear to clothing style, colors, and facial features laid the foundation of what you all know as the Be Spectacular program, the Eyewear Styling program, which she founded in 2007. She was nominated for the 2018 Women Influence Award for her innovative three-step eyewear styling process. And Wendy shares this Be Spectacular program with all her peers internationally. A lot of people who are image consultants actually follow this program, and they also provide the services of combining the eyewear to clothing styling, and that's possible because of Wendy. So Wendy, welcome once again, and I'm really glad to actually have you here.
I'm excited to be here, and I'm excited to share with you. You know, you have to, when you ask me to do this, it's like I have to stop and reflect on, let me think, I've been in business it'll be 23 years in May this year. And so it definitely has evolved and changed. And then, you know, what we're experiencing right now in 2020, it's changing. And I think for all of us, requiring us to rethink our businesses, pivot a little bit,
Right.
reflect even more, you know, on what have we done and where do we want to go, and are we doing what we love to do? And I think another thing that's become really obvious is that maybe the money isn't as important as all the other things that that are important. So, you know, not to say we don't need to make a living, we do. But I think it needs to be something that you love to do. And then that will follow. And if you're following your passion and doing well and giving to the world, whatever your expertise is, I think the money will come. And I think when we come out the other side of this healthy and happy, I think we'll be better people. I think we'll be better business people.
Very true. I think that's really well summarized of this entire situation, and the way you have mentioned, that we'll come out even better as a better person, maybe a better business person altogether. And one of the important things that you mentioned is about pivoting in what you just said. And I want to highlight something here. A lot of you don't know this about Wendy, but before being a licensed optician, she also had a little experience of working in a dental clinic. So, Wendy, you have come from dental background to being an optician and image consultant. So I see a lot of, when you use the word pivot points, I think I see a lot of pivot points. So if you could just run us through your journey and just let us know a little bit more about your whole journey. I think that will be very inspiring to understand where you exactly coming from.
Yeah. It's funny when I say dental assisting now, because it seems so long ago. And when I was graduating from that program, I had an exit interview with the head of the program, and I still remember her clear as day, and her name is Debbie Hogan. I probably will never forget her. And she sat me down and she said, Wendy, one day you're going to be really good at something, but it won't be this. I wasn't good at it. I did it because everybody said you should go off and go to college and do something. So off I went, and I just literally picked something out of a book. Mm-hmm. Now, everything, you know, good things come from everything. And there I met one of my very best friends, who is still a good friend today, 35 years later. I ended up meeting a woman in dental assisting that also said to me after I was 2 years into that, you need to get out of this. This isn't for you. You better move. And I said to her, well, what would I do? Like, I don't know what I want to be. I don't know what I want to do. I don't have a plan. And she said, go talk to my friend who's an optician. He has a great business. It's interesting. It's a family business. It's been passed on. Just go talk to him. And I was naive and humble enough to just listen to her and go and speak to this man. And during that conversation, he offered me a job. And he said, I said, well, what would I do? Like, I'm a dental assistant. And he said, I'll teach you what you need to do. And we started making glasses in the basement of his shop. So I would work in the dental office during the day, and then I would go to the optical lab and work putting glasses together in the evening.
That's a lot of hard work.
Yeah, but not having a plan, but being open enough to listen to other people and being open enough to have conversations, right. And then be willing to just go try something, even though you're not an expert at it yet. You know, I would never have become an expert at dental assisting. That's a for sure.
And one thing that you mentioned is you're humble and naive. And I think a lot of good things come out of being humble and just, you know, going out and trying things and not just, you know, trying to stop yourself that what if and asking those questions of what if. So sometimes very good things come out of just being humble and just, you know, trying something out and not stop yourself. Isn't that true? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So just one more. So when you had like, as I said, that you started from dental and then it was being an optician and then finally being an image consultant. So where exactly was that pivot point in your life where you are today? If you can just tell us that exact moment was, you know, that pivot point was there.
The exact moment when I started this company?
Yeah, means where would you say would be that, you know, that moment where, you know, the things shifted and you can say that that was that moment where what I am today is because of this. So is there one particular moment that you can pinpoint and share with us?
Well, and there's a couple. I think a key thing that happened when I worked retail optical was we had an event there where things changed a little bit, and I realized that someone else had complete control over my paycheck. If a personality issue decided that I wasn't a good fit, that affected my lifestyle. So that happened first when I worked retail optical, and I decided at that moment that no one else would control that. I would be in control. So as I trained, and so that's when I was open again, and I trained to be an image consultant while I was working retail optical. And I loved the process of styling people and matching clothes and jewelry and shoes. So I started an image consulting, a small image consulting business on the side, really just because I loved it, you know, not even wondering where it might go. I was in my basement apartment. And when I started working with clients that wore eyeglasses, they would say, after we got everything put together, they'd say, Wendy, my glasses don't look good at all. And I'm like, you're right. Because I was so focused on getting out of the optical industry that I wasn't even looking at their eyewear. And I worked for an organization that sold low end, not fashion. So I wasn't kind of exposed to fashion eyewear. So they said to me, well, you're an optician. Get me some nice glasses. And that one statement from one client, I totally pivoted. I was like, oh my gosh. So I've invested all this time in my education. I've got 10 years experience in the business, and I was going to give it up and start from scratch. And I realized that glasses are fashion. And 22, 23 years ago, it wasn't like it is now. No one was in my circle was really talking about fashion eyewear. So I saw an opportunity to work like an image consultant, personal appointments, and style them with eyewear to match the clothing style, get into their closets and look at that and see their personality reflected in what they like to wear. So I completely changed my business from, I was 6 months in, I went from being an image consultant styling clothing to being an image consultant to simply style eyeglasses and wardrobe people with eyeglasses to match their clothing.
Nice. Wow. So we can say that one statement was your light bulb moment, right? That just changed the way you looked at business, right?
Yeah. Something that should have been so obvious.
Right.
But we don't know. We don't have all the answers. We don't have all the answers right now. We are just going day by day. And when I started my business, I was in exactly the same spot for a different reason. But I didn't know what my next move was. I knew in my gut, I knew my intuition that this would work. I didn't know how it was going to work. I just knew that if I did enough of the right things and good things that I could make it work. And people in the industry told me, no, that's not going to work. People have tried that before. It's not going to work. And I just went, okay, I choose not to listen to that right now because my gut's saying it will. So you have to trust yourself at some point, especially as an entrepreneur, that you might not do everything perfect, but the plan is to do enough things right to move you forward.
Right. I think that's very important that, just maybe keep trying and just, not go for the perfect plan sometimes, because there is nothing called perfection being an entrepreneur, especially if you are starting out solo. Sometimes you have to just, believe in your gut feeling, listen to your gut.
Can I stop you for 1 sec, Sonia?
Yes.
I don't know if anybody else, and I don't know whether everybody's hearing me clearly, but when you speak to me, it's a little garbled. So I'm having a hard time understanding what you're saying. Is that true for everybody else?
Let me see if people are having the similar problem online. Am I audible to everyone? Can everyone hear me? Let's see. Yes, I'm getting comments that yes, my voice is getting a little problematic. Let me see if I can fix it at my end. Give me a moment. Is it better now?
Oh, perfect. Yes.
I think it is when
I couldn't answer your questions because I couldn't understand.
Okay, I'm so sorry. I think it is because when I switch on the camera, it just kind of goes haywire a little bit. But let me try to switch it on now and see if it is still better. Okay.
Okay, and hopefully everybody is hearing me okay. Please let us know if
there is no problem at your end. Everyone is saying that the problem is at my end.
Okay.
They can't hear me properly. So I think it's my internet today which is giving issues.
Okay.
All right. So
can you repeat the question?
Right. Let me just check if I'm audible now. So can everyone hear me properly now? Okay.
Yeah, I'm good to me.
All right. Wonderful. So I'm getting yeses and a lot of thumbs ups now. Okay. So my question to you was that what you said was very important, that sometimes you have to believe in the gut feeling. And what I again go back to your journey, and I see that you tried a lot of things, and maybe at that point of time, even if you didn't get that light bulb moment or that exact eureka moment that this is what I'm going to lead to, you kept trying a lot of things. So even talking about the mobile boutique that you came up with, that's a brilliant idea, I believe. So can you just tell everyone a little bit about what is the mobile boutique, optician boutique, and the stylist that you you are actually providing the services to people, and they can get some ideas on how you came up with it and what was the thought process that you were thinking of.
Okay. Well, I think starting my business as an image consultant, image consultants work by appointment only. It's a personal session typically. you're in their closets, you're in their personal space. So you develop a different relationship because they're coming to you for advice that's personal, and they're trying to express who they are through their clothing, through their hairstyles, through their wardrobe. So I think starting that company was so different than what I was doing in a retail optical environment that I was intrigued, because I get energy from people. I can pick up on, you know, what's happening in their world. I can ask questions, and it's a safe environment being because it's personal and we're not in the store. So people would tell me more, and I was able to really help them change their look when I started bringing in eyewear because of that personal connection. But having the understanding of the clothing style and personality also helped me choose the right materials, the right color, whether I introduce texture or sheen in the eyeglasses to reflect and to mimic and accessorize with their clothing. So it was kind of having the combination of both that said, why not do this just for eyewear? And no one had done it at the time. It was really, there were some people going mobile into retirement homes and working with the seniors, but there was no one really taking it from a fashion perspective. So I thought this would be a good opportunity. I thought there was a gap in the market, but it took a long time to market it because no one had done it before. There was nobody that I could look at what they were doing or reach out to them and say, could you help me? Or how did you do this? And so I really had to kind of figure it out on my own. And it changed and evolved. My product changed from very classic mainstream to funkier and catering to more of the clothing styles, because understanding that. So I started out with a dozen frames on consignment and grew my inventory to about 450 pieces now. But the other shift that happened, so it was always people buy one pair every 2 years. When they're done with it, they put it in a drawer. Where what I started to do when I was wardrobing, where people were buying 2, 3, 4 pairs of glasses at a time, because it was now an accessory, just like your boots or your handbags. And so I started to see a real shift when I was about 8, 9 years in. And then when that shift happened, I started to be able to categorize the spec styles that I then created for the Be Spectacular program in 2007, I think it was. But I'd had 10 years under my belt to figure out that process.
Wendy, if I have to say, you have really created a niche for yourself. I think you are maybe the only person that I am aware of that who's doing this combination of eyewear as well as styling and image consulting together. And a lot of students and people who are joining us, even other, industry, colleagues that have joined me today, a lot of them actually keep asking or keep looking for finding their own niche. Okay, so what would be, you would say that, can you hear me properly?
It's going all garbly again.
Oh, okay, let me just switch off my camera and maybe that will make it better. All right, so my question better? Yeah. So my question to you is that what would you say to all the industry people who are image consultants or just starting out? They all are trying to create their own niche. So is there a process that they can follow to find their niche, or how does one go about it? What was your formula maybe to go about it? If you can share your way of doing it, and people can just take some notes out of that.
Yeah, well, finding my niche was really the combination of being the optician first and then becoming an image consultant. And I decided to bring those two worlds together to create my niche market. And it was funny because I thought I didn't want to be an optician anymore. I thought I didn't like being an optician. It was like, oh my gosh, here I go again. I went to school to be a dental assistant, didn't like that. Went to school to be an optician. Now I'm, 8 years in, I'm like, I'm not liking this. It's like, what am I going to do now? What's my next big move? And I realized that when I started styling eyewear in a personalized situation, and I was developing relationships and friendships with my clients, I was happy again. So it wasn't that I didn't like being an optician. I didn't like being an optician where I thought where the box would put you into this, you have to go work in a retail environment. You have to work, if you want to make any money, you have to get into management, or you have to open your own boutique. And I knew from 8 years of retail that I was not going to sit in a store 7 days a week waiting for someone to come through my door. My personality couldn't handle it. So I knew that wasn't for me. So, maybe it's figuring out what you don't like first, which will lead you to what you do like. When I say that out loud, it's like, maybe that was the key, at least for me. I've never had a clear path. I was never 12 years old and said, oh, I know exactly that I'm going to be a doctor and I'm going to go to this school and I'm going to do, I've never had that. And what's happening in 2020? What am I going to do now? We're not selling eyeglasses or fitting eyeglasses, and personalized service is like, there's no social distancing with what I do. It's intimate, it's close, we're trying on frames. So now what do I do? I've got to figure that out. So I've got the training program. So I'm like, okay, you've got the training program for image consultants. You started the program for opticians. Maybe this is your sign to do more in that field and teach more. I'm not, I don't have the answers. I'm going day by day, figuring it out and staying in touch with people and being inspired by the stories and being able to talk to you and all the people on here. It's your students, you're just starting out, you're at a different spot than I am. Can we help? Can we inspire? Can we impart some mistakes and knowledge? And we've got the time. I think we've got time now to do some of the things. Like I think I have never had this much time off in 22 years. I had 2 babies building my business. I never took a maternity leave. I never took more than a week off, holidays where I wasn't in touch with my clients. This is like time that I'm not going to waste. I'm going to figure it out and I'm going to move forward and I'm going to try to do some good through the next, how long will it be? Will it be 3 weeks? Will it be 3 months? It's the unknown, I think, that could mess up our heads, and we have to just stay focused on moving forward and figuring out what your next move is and your next plan.
Right. I think that's really true, that the unknown is the thing that actually leads us to find out what our next move is going to be. Wendy, tell me that something which I'm gathering all the things that you're saying, and I believe that you follow your instinct. And another thing that I see overall, that, it's all about what makes you happy. Like when you work with clients, that the smile that you put on their face when they find the right classes, that those are the little things that make you happy. So what are your views? Because everyone is trying, in this industry to trying to make it big, have big businesses, and just maybe somewhere forgetting the idea of these little small things of what makes them happy. So what's your view on having a big business in image consulting?
I think I tried to figure out how to scale and how to be big for 10 years out of the 22 years I've been in business. Half of it was spent, what is the next big thing? How can I scale it up? Do I franchise it? Do I bring in more consultants? Do I, what do I do? And was it last year? Last year, I called last year, 2019, my maternity leave year. I decided that for 1 year, starting January 2019, that I was not going to try to create anything new or be anything more than what I was.
Okay.
And what I figured out was that I was happy doing what I did. I was happy working with my clients. I was happy serving them. I was happy creating change for them. I had joy. They were happy. It was reciprocal. And I was like, whoa. Over the years, I've hired people. I've brought in staff. The reason I wasn't good in a retail optical environment was because I was in a management role and I do not like managing people. I knew that 22 years ago, and yet I tried to recreate it in my business because I thought in order to be successful, I needed to be grander, bigger, better. And where I am making a difference. I do make a difference every single day. I'm around people who inspire me. My clients are interesting. They are respectful. They trust me. I trust them. There's a great relationship there. And I had to learn that I was okay running lean. So I now have gone back to the basics. And I went back to the basics before our new world started, before COVID. I was like, I'm going lean. I am going to do my own paperwork. And when I'm done my accounting that I hate doing, that everybody says, don't do what you hate, I'm going to buy myself a new pair of boots. I'm going to reward myself for doing it and keeping it lean because I had the time to do that. I was a one-man show, so I'm not out selling every day, all day. I had time to do this. And I found it easier to do that than to hire someone to do it and manage that piece of it. So some people are great at managing people. I think you're great at managing people. You've been able to build a team, and you've been able to not just build a team within the Indian School of Image Management, but you've been able to build a global team. I'm part of that team. I love being part of bigger things. And I think that is what I had to figure out was my strength, was to be part of the bigger picture, because I am part of the optical world. So I can give to the optical world in a different way. I'm part of the image industry, and I can give the eyewear styling piece and the optical knowledge to the image world. So I had lots to give. I just had to find where's my piece, and then learn to be okay with that. And I am. I have been very happy.
I think a lot of people need to see your pictures online, which are, that's my daily boost of, happiness, if I would say. I go online and see your amazing pictures and just something that just cracks me up, and I look forward to it every single day. And yes, talking about, we have a lot of questions coming in, by the way, Wendy. So I will just maybe wrap up our question answers a little bit sooner, because we won't have enough time to just, take everybody's questions. So my last question to you, Wendy, is that we are in the strange time, and you said that we are in the unknown time period. And yes, talking about that only, what is that one thing that you have learned in this pandemic situation and that you would like to share with everyone?
Humor. Humor has been my release. If somebody's watched my post about going bananas, it was just a fluky thing. I was being a goof on a Saturday night. I put bananas on my head, and then it was like, oh my gosh, this is how I feel. And my mind is slow enough that I think just naturally I'm goofy. I like to be goofy. I like to laugh. I like to, torment puppies and kids and goof around with them. I'm the crazy lady in the neighborhood that cuts up broccoli for the kids at Halloween. So they get a chocolate bar and then they get fresh broccoli. And what's funny is that the kids in the neighborhood now come looking for the broccoli. So I love being goofy. I love sarcasm. I love just being a kid. I've had time to just be goofy and be a kid because I've got more time. I'm relaxed. So I'm doing silly things like that. So now my thing now is Fashion Fridays. And, in the image world and in the optical world, you think that's going to be, what are the trends and what's happening and how do you fit this face shape? And it's not. It's goofy shots that are going to happen every Friday. My 17-year-old son's been with me for 3 weeks. I make him go outside. He gives me all of 2.5 minutes of his time to take a couple of pictures. And then he's like, Mom, I'm not doing this. I'm not helping you. So, but it's just being fun and being funny and being goofy. And I love it. And I don't think I'm going to stop doing that. I think that's going to be part of my MO every day. That's going to be my method of operation. Go goofy first.
Yes, I think that's a very amazing outcome of, I've been talking to so many people and everyone has a different perspective, but this outcome of, of this situation, humor and finding your goofy self and being more happier with it, that's something that I'm hearing for the first time. And I think that's really important, which we all are right now, being a little bit more anxious and being a little bit confused, a little bit fearful. I think finding that little goofy self would really help people to just, look inwards. Because when you said that you want to be like this and you want to continue being like this, that's somewhere maybe, you found something in you which you have been missing for maybe a long time or were not paying enough attention. So I believe that's a really important thing and we all should take a note out there. Just now, I'm going to move to questions now because Wendy, a lot of questions are coming in. So I think we should just move to them. Now, the first question for you is by Bindu Gupta, and this is really technical. So more from from your expertise. So she's asking, can you please suggest a shape of glasses for a round face to cut that roundness?
Yes. I'd love to see you because that would help, because there's roundness, but then what do your facial features look like? What are the shape of the eyes? What are the placement of the eyes horizontally? What is the shape of your nose? So I'm going to say, generally when I see a round face, that the features are soft and curved as well. So, it's always, if you're round, go square. I caution you to be careful about going completely square. I would add some angles for sure, but I would add lift on the top. So maybe, it's funny, I pulled out a few frames because I was was going to be goofy and change my frames as we went through here, but maybe I can use it to make these points. Maybe, so on a round, I would maybe do something like this, where yes, we've created some point here, but this lift here will help give you a cheekbone, and keep it round here, because I'm guessing, and of course I can't see you, that if you've got a round face, it's likely that your eyebrows are curved. So try to mimic the curve of the brow, keeping that soft. So play a little bit to some of the more curved, softer features. And then if you want to add an edge here. The biggest mistake I see with people wearing, with a round face, is wearing small, squared glasses that cut off their eyes. So if they cut off their eyes, then we've lost that connection to speak. Just, you know, like here, if you couldn't see my eyes in these glasses, it would start to create a barrier. So that would be, is that enough without seeing your face?
Yeah, but that's really helpful, Wendy, because a lot of people just think that, you know, it's just the face shape and your face silhouette that only matters when you have to pick the eyeglasses. And some, you know, there are a lot of things that matter, and that's what you talk about in your program also, that there are a lot of different, you need to see the features, you need to see the gap between the eyes, how deep set they are. I think you talk so much in depth about it, that really how people actually identify that what really works for them. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you know what their personality is can dictate the shape. You know, if I take, for example, like my piece of art in the back, I love this because it was so quirky and it broke the rules. They put a round frame, the artist put a round frame on a round face. And I love that because it's great to have guidelines, but it's okay as image consultants to break those rules if you know why you're breaking them and you can communicate why you're breaking them.
Yes.
The biggest mistake I see is putting your clients into a box and not being flexible enough to move them out of that when their personality is begging you to do that. They're begging you to make a change and make a move, you know, especially the classics. You know, I call them my subtle sophisticate spec style. They do want to be classic and have clean lines and have something that works with everything, but we can do that in an interesting way and not a boring way. So we can add color, we can add shapes, we can add dimensions, design details. There's so much we can do to help that person. So I think I would say that know the guidelines, know the rules, and then work with your client to get them where they want to be in the look they want. They want to break the rules and you can explain why that doesn't work as well, and they still want to go with that, you've done your job. There's some people where I'm very firm though. I think
I think the personality style plays a big role, and you know, you have to listen to it. You have to listen to what they exactly want, and sometimes they won't actually say it out loud, but as an image consultant, that's where we need to step up and just maybe give them that little push that you really need this, try this on once. And once they try, they see the result themselves, I feel. All right, the next question that we have is from Nilima. She's asking what attracted or rather inspired you to pick up this profession. I mean, this is not very common. There could be something which must have had you had the objective. Can you share your insights? So do you want me to repeat the question again?
No, but I think I answered that in that, you know, I had the optical training but I was more passionate and excited in 1997 about the image, about styling, about understanding that there was a method to styling a body. And I think, so I think I found a way to take training that I already have and bring it into the image industry. And I saw, you know, I guess just in the Toronto area, I saw a need for that within the optical market here too, that no one else was doing it. And I kind of liked that too, that I liked being able to go out and try to build something new that hadn't been done before. Like that excited me. So remember, when I started this, I was living in a basement apartment and I had left my job. So I had no money. So I had to really say, you know what, you, in a way, you got to make it work. But I wasn't fearful. I wasn't fearful at all. So because I was so excited and I was so happy to be out doing my own thing with no boss telling me what to do. And my personality is driven to do that too. So I think it was a whole bunch of things that just all came together. And then one person said to me, why don't you have some eyewear? Because now I need eyeglasses because you've made me look so good from the neck down that now my glasses look horrible. And I just was like, so listen, and we have time to listen right now, because it was that one recommendation that started my whole optical boutique. Right. Did that answer the question? I'm not sure where. I can tell you that the dental assisting did not help me.
No, I think you answered it pretty well. And even adding on to that point that, you know, you had that desire that you want, like it was a situation for you where you had to make it work. And plus that, you know, that feeling that there's no boss to answer. And plus you were not, you know, you were fearless. So all those emotion and what you were going through, you know, in your mindset actually also now I think would have given her the answer from the mental point of view or the mental well-being point of view, that what you were exactly thinking on what was going in your mind at that time. So I believe that's what she wanted to know, other than, you know, your knowledge about how you combined it together.
Right, right.
All right, so next question is by Poonam, and she's asking, how can we decide the size and the shape of the glasses for oval shaped and medium size face? So she wants to know the size and the shape of glasses for oval shaped and medium size face. What are the criteria to decide that?
The shapes, well, the size, you need to create balance. So, you know, are you an oval shape? Of course, there's already natural facial balance. So you can pretty much put anything on unless you go way too big or way too small. So just as long as it's in proportion. Again, what do the facial features look like? Are the facial features delicate? Are they stronger? You know, like I have very strong pointy chin. I've got a very prominent, strong nose. If you put something wishy-washy light metal on me, I'll show you these. It's not going to really do anything for me. You know, it's not, there's not enough weight in this metal frame. So you want the weight of the frame to be in harmony with the facial features, whether they're delicate, medium, or very strong boned. So look at that first, I think is probably easier than, you know, what I've taught for 10, 12 years at image conferences. The biggest thing that gets in the way are people trying to analyze a face shape for hours. Just have a general idea of what that face shape is. What are the proportions on the face shape?
Right.
There'll rarely be a perfect anything, because we're human, we're different. That's what makes us so interesting. So it's hard to find the perfect oval or the perfect heart. They're usually combinations. So that's why I think don't get hung up on the face shape. Pay attention to the facial features. You know, right. Sonia's a great example. I've analyzed her on different live courses we've done, because you know, it's like, she's round, just go with that. Everything is curved and round, you know, it's all your facial features, your brows, your hairline, your nose, your lips, you know, accentuate the eyes, don't cut the eyes off. That's probably the one of my number one rules.
Yes, I think that's really helpful. And again, to answer Poonam's question, and to add on, Poonam, it is really important to know it's just not the face shape, as Wendy has been saying. You need to take care of the features. You need to look at every single feature, and as well as bone structure that we understand, and how much, like, are you fine, are you medium, are you strong? So we talk about all of that. So even that matters a lot. So yes, but the guidelines that Wendy has said are the starting point, and then knowing or seeing your face actually helps a lot. And she talks about that in the program also, so you can always check that out. The next question is by Rohan, and Rohan has asked, first of all, he's really he loved the way that you move from the retail professional to an image consultant. He wants to know what specific knowledge from the retail industry helped you achieve that. I believe you have already answered this, but if you want to add on something on top of what you have answered.
Well, 10 years in retail optical, working for some of the big companies, I learned the business of optical. So I understood, what goes on behind the scenes to run an optical business. There's lots of elements to being an optician, and people who run their own businesses in optical know this. What your cost of goods, your relationship with your lab, all the suppliers, what products do you bring in, how do you control your inventory based on what your sales are, what is the profit margin at the end of the day, what are all the other costs that are fixed costs that you have to take into consideration. So I love people, there's all different price points with eyewear, but I can tell you that the margins are in the low end, not in the nice mid to high end fashion eyewear. That's where you're getting the value, the low end. It's just a numbers game. It's about getting them in and getting them out. And I was at an optical event recently, and I was just all giddy and excited about these frames that I was buying. And I was like, oh, look at this color. And there's a gentleman beside me, and he said, I could care less about that. He said, I run a 3-for-1 optical, and it's all about just moving product. And I was like, oh, that just put a knife in my heart, because if I had to work every day just get the product out of the store, it doesn't matter what it looks like, I couldn't do it. I was sad. It was like I actually coiled, my body was like, I personally couldn't work that way. But working in retail for 10 years, I learned what I didn't like about retail. And I didn't like working 7 days a week. I didn't like working on the weekends in a beautiful sunny Sunday. I didn't like selling product that didn't look good on people. I didn't like not being able to have personal time with people, that I had to rush from the lab to the retail to a management role where I'm helping another employee. I liked being focused on my clients. So I learned all that stuff in retail working for somebody else. So retail's a great experience. There's a lot of things you can take away from working retail.
That's wonderful. I think that answers this question. Rohan, I hope your question is answered. We have one more question by Reena, and this is, can you hear me again, or should I just switch off my camera just to be on the safe side? Okay, so Reena's question is, what's the best way to ignore those pessimists around you and focus on your goal?
Focus on what?
On your goal. So
On
she's saying that
goal.
what's the best way to ignore those pessimists around you and focus only on your goal?
Great question. Great question. Love it. Trying to think, what do I do? I distance myself now. I didn't know to distance myself in 1998 or 1999. I just would try to, I would try to explain to them what I was doing in a different way, hoping that they would be on board with me. They'll never be on board. They could, you know, for whatever reason, whatever their reasons are, they may not want you to move forward. They may not want you to be successful. That's not on you. And it's not up to you to take that on your shoulders. So I would distance myself from people like that. And, you know, I'm sure everybody's had a frenemy, someone who appears to be one of your best friends, who perhaps doesn't have your back, you know, and learning. And again, your guts tell you everything. It's whether we choose to listen to them, because my guts would tell me something's off. But in the very beginning, I actually found the naysayers inspirational. It was like, oh, you think I can't do this? I'll show you. Like, I almost took that. It was like, oh, they said I couldn't do it, so I'm going to go ahead and do it just to prove they're wrong. It was almost competitive for me, my personality. So some of them helped me. They actually moved me forward, because I'm like, I'm not going to let them be right. I'm going to be right. That's the stubborn side of my personality. And then the others, I had to learn who to keep in my tribe and who to let go, which is not easy, and it's not a fun process to go to, but you have to protect your head. We have to protect our head right now. You know, we have to know what's going on, but we can control that immediate world around us. For me, it's meditating. For me, it's going for long walks alone. You know, now we have to be alone. Before, I'd always go for walks with someone. Well, now when I'm alone, I can be creative, I can think. And you don't have anybody with social distancing, you have nobody close enough to tell you anything bad or what their belief system is. So, you know, take this time to really pick who you get on a Zoom call with, and pick who you have those face-to-face meetings with, and share ideas that can help all of us move forward. That was probably a long answer to a short question.
But I think very important. You picked and touched upon a lot of different topics over there. Protecting your head right now, which is very, very critical. Who you want to be and who you want to spend your time at this hour or this point of time. And especially the thing that I resonate the most with, all the naysayers, and just, you know, getting that attitude that I'll show you. That was my personal favorite, you know, that I think even I get driven by something like that. If someone comes that, you know, Sonia, you can't do that. That just gives me that boost of confidence. Let me show you how.
Yeah.
So
You watch me. You watch me.
you watch me.
Cool. Yeah.
So I think that was really nice inputs that you gave. Another question that is coming, if there is time, she is saying that if I can ask you one last question, what do you do when you're almost convinced you are getting into a certain area and were dependent on a mentor or a middleman, and now that's not working with your sensibilities, and to be on your own is looking too tough, bringing resources together a big challenge, but you know you were so good at it? Wow, that's okay. So let me just break it down. This is a long question. So
Okay.
she's asking, what do you do when you're almost convinced that you are getting into a certain area, and that was happening because of you were dependent on a mentor or a middleman? Okay. Now, at this point of time, it's not working with your sensibilities, and it's not working, but to be on your own is looking too tough, because bringing resources together is a big challenge. But at the back of your mind, you know you were so good at what you started doing. So I think she's in a kind of a dilemma, that how uh, maybe it's dependency, where she started out and now maybe that dependency is not working out. And I think your going lean would really, be helpful over here. Maybe you want to just share
Mhm.
something or add on. Yes.
So I think what I'm hearing is you're good at whatever it is you do. Do it. Go and do what you're good at and trust trust that you're enough. Trust that you have the answers. If you're working with someone, I'm getting a little choked up because this has happened to me. And it takes a lot of guts to break off whatever that partnership or dependency that you have on someone. Having difficult conversations is not easy, and it's a learned skill. Being confrontational is a learned skill. You know, our personality wants to go where everybody's happy and friendly, but the best relationships come out of having a really good, truthful, confrontational conversation with people. And if you were always good at what you did, you will always be good at what you do, and trust that you're okay on your own to make your own decisions and that you don't have to have someone. I totally believe in having mentors. I have a circle of business women that, from everybody who's school teachers to people who have run multi-million-dollar businesses, as my mentors. And every time we're together, we learn from each other. I'll go, this is what I'm thinking. This is my thought process. Am I being crazy with this? Or the way I'm feeling, is that okay? And they'll let me know if I'm being too sensitive or if I am right on the right path and feeling, if your guts are getting upset, it usually means it's not the right person to be with.
I totally agree with that. And just to add on over here, Rohit, this is something I think this would help what Wendy has said, and also adding on to that point, somewhere where things are not working out with one person, somewhere we feel that we are now alone and this entire responsibility is just, or it's just looking too tough, because you kind of get that feeling of being alone. I have in my first session actually addressed this, that sometimes it's just in your head where you feel that you're alone. It's sometimes as easy as just to go out and ask. So just go out and ask, just bounce off your ideas. If you don't have a mentor, or you don't have, like, of course you should have group of mentors or different people for different support system. You should have your support system. But if your support system is falling apart, you should still go out and ask new set of people. Just ask, just bounce off the idea. You will be surprised where the help would come from. And just that feeling of that you are alone, I think you should never have that, because actually you are never alone. In fact, the whole idea of having this tribe that we call as ISIM tribe is there to support each other. So just ask. I think it's as simple as just asking out, and yeah, just reaching out to people. So having a group of support system, as Wendy said, and if you are not finding that support system, just just ask out to anyone you would feel that could be helping. Yeah, I hope that answer your question, Ruhi, and I hope that will give you some the answers or the things that you will wanting to hear. Just to now end, because we have no more questions coming in. So if you have more questions, you can reach out and drop it in the comment section, or maybe reach out to Wendy on her Facebook page. She has her Facebook page that is Eyewear. Wendy, you want to mention your Facebook page name that people can search?
Yeah, the business Facebook is Wendy Buchanan, Eyewear Image Expert, Perceptions Eyewear.
Thank you so much. All right, Wendy, to quickly wrap up, I have something very interesting that I have created for you, and this is called a rapid fire.
It's called rapid fire.
Yes, we are going to have a rapid fire questions. I'm going to switch off my camera because otherwise my voice will go all garbled. So,
Okay.
okay, so brace yourself. There are questions coming in and you don't get too much time to think. You have to just quickly give answers to the first thing that comes into your mind. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, your favorite movie of all time?
Bohemian Rhapsody.
Ooh, wow, love it. Okay, the best eyewear trend of all time?
Oversized sunglasses.
Yeah, I love that too. What about, okay, the next question. Your favorite book?
Simon Sinek's Start With Why.
Ooh, nice. I need to read this one. Your favorite holiday of the year?
Halloween.
Halloween.
Love Halloween. You should see the glasses I wear for Halloween.
Wow. Okay. And what's the most expensive eyewear that you have seen or you know about?
Oh. I think I saw one pair for around $18,000.
What? $18,000.
They were made, was it 18 karat gold and diamonds?
Oh my God.
I don't know where I saw that though. Yeah, I don't know where maybe it was Elton John. Who knows?
All right.
Well,
yes. Your next question is, what's your favorite eyewear brand? No, you don't have anyone?
I'm not attached to brands. I'm attached to styling. So yeah, I'm not a brand person.
Okay, that's wonderful. Most overrated spec style?
Oh, that narrow squared look that was in the 90s and stayed in for about 15 years.
Yes, I think I know somebody who has one.
If they have those, they need to let them go.
That person is watching the live right now. All right.
I say that with love, but it's time to put them in a drawer and keep them to show your kids, but you don't have to wear them.
Right, I would tell him that. All right. What eyewear will you suggest to wear at the airport? These are questions coming in from the audiences.
When I go to the airport, I purposely try to wear my boldest color.
Wow.
I have great conversations at the airport when I wear my really cool, well, all my glasses are cool, but I actually purposely make a statement at the airport because I meet so many cool people.
Right, right. Wonderful. And what eyewear would you wear to a board meeting?
I used to say that I would change that, but I might go from what I have on right now to my red.
Ah, love it.
I might, still making a statement. The red picks up the red in my jacket.
Right.
I probably wear this to a board meeting, but this is a little more classic, but with a little bit of an edge and more fashion forward. Because at board meeting, I think you still want to have presence.
Right. And it's a power color. Red is a power color. So demands attention right there. Your most prized possession. And I'm talking about eyewear.
Oh, eyewear.
Or maybe otherwise also, but I would love to see your most prized possession of
my most prized possession are my white go-go boots.
Ah, you should post that picture up. I need to see those.
That will be Fashion Friday for anyone that wants to see the white go-go boots.
I'm coming live on Friday, Fashion Friday, to see those.
They are like one of my favorite things in the world to wear.
Wow. Can't wait to see them now. All right, so that was your rapid fire round, Wendy, and we are getting a lot of love for you on the Facebook. So you can go in the comment section later on and see that so much of love. Everyone is loving the session. You are inspiring. I love it. Love your energies. You are so inspiring, ma'am. There are these beautiful words coming out for you. So you can take your time after the session. Ruhi says, thank you so much. She really liked the answer that you gave, and that was really helpful. And yes, everyone is just in love with the whole session. So I
Oh, thank you.
think
You know what, I'm sending all my love to you, and you know, I probably, if there's people from other parts of the world on too, but let's just be well, be safe, and I'm here for you. If you have questions, if you want to reach out on Facebook or social media, I'm happy to answer questions for you, and I have time. I have time to be here and to help anybody out. So I think I feel great having the opportunity to be with you all this morning and your evening. But thank you for the opportunity, Sonia. It's great to see you.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to have you here. And as Wendy said that she has time right now, she has also mentioned that anybody who is going to go for the program, the Be Spectacular program right now, before I think the 14th, will get one-on-one time towards the end of the month with Wendy, where she can answer all your questions. And that's only for this time period because Wendy has time. So don't forget that if you want to take advantage of Wendy's time, that this is the time to go ahead with your program and to go ahead with your session. So yes, you can reach out to us to get that, get those 2 hours and get to the session also, the program, the Be Spectacular program. Thank you so much, Wendy. I would thank you once again, and to be our presenter and to come and give your time for this Q&A and a little talk that we do every day at 7:30. So thank you once again.
My pleasure.
All right, and sorry to cut you there. All right, so we are actually not managing our time. Yesterday we learned about time management, but it was so wonderful to talk to Wendy today, and I just completely forgot how much time we had spent. So please do tune in tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. as well. And tomorrow we are going to have 2 more speakers with us, Anna and Ida. Anna and Ida will be joining us tomorrow from Malaysia, and they are going to talk about growth mindset. So wonderful topic at this point and this hour to talk about, given the situation. And yes, so I will